I'm trying to 100% all 3 Tomb Raider Survivor games before Legacy of Atlantis drops. With Tomb Raider 2013 done, Shadow waiting, and Rise. Rise is just a middle child nobody warned me about, including my own brain, which apparently erased my entire 2019 playthrough from existence. I started this game with fresh eyes and a trophy list that was already half finished by a ghost. This is the full 100% journey. Every story beat, every tomb, every DLC that backed out in the worst possible moment.
It is the greatest cruelty of life, that we're all too swiftly taken from it. We age, we decay, we die.
Rise opens in Syria, where Lara's chasing the myth of Kizet, a lost city that the Deathless Prophet allegedly founded. Here, apart from amazing views, so pretty, we also managed to find a tomb, which we believed to be the Prophet's. However, things are never that easy, are they? And we find the tomb to be empty. And not long after, we are also being ambushed by Trinity, because Trinity is always there. But let's pause for a second, because who the hell is Trinity? It's an ancient sect with the main goal of controlling the future humanity. If you've played Assassin's Creed before, then you can definitely compare them with the Order of the Ancients. Coming back to the present, we need to escape the tomb, which is now fully collapsing and floating at the same time. After barely escaping with her own life and zero tangible proof, we managed to find a symbol carved into the ground. After searching for the symbol in her dad's research, all the trails lead to Siberia.
The lost city of Katesh, said to have disappeared in Siberia sometime in the 12th century. The same symbol.
And this is where the game actually starts. The frozen tundra, the desperate search for the lost city, and the moment I realized this game was going to be significantly longer than my deleted memory suggested. Shit. Oh my god, I managed. Oh my god. It scared the shit out of me. Within the first hour in Siberia, I managed to find my first challenge tomb. First of all, similar to the previous game, they're not optional if you're going for the 100%. Every single one of them is required. In the previous game, we discussed how the challenge tombs were actually pretty easy, taking in average 5 minutes. However, in Rise, these are completely different. I would say some of them genuinely devious. Moving forward, Trinity is already here and we need to pass through camps full of them. And while doing so, we also managed to find the person behind this mission, and his name is Constantine. There's way more about him, but we'll figure out later. After passing this section, we finally get to the proper open world. This is also the place where we are being introduced to side missions. Now, for the 100%, it is mandatory to complete all of them. We will also be introduced to the merchant, and one of the trophies later on will be to buy everything he has for sale. Later on, we need to infiltrate one of the Trinity camps. Fortunately, we are being caught by Constantine. And the next section, it's pretty hard, but it also was pretty obvious.
Whatever they want, just give it to them.
So I would assume that she's a Trinity member based on how she's talking. What did I say?
After being thrown into the prison, we finally meet Jacob. He's one of the remnants, and this entire faction changed everything. The Remnant are the most sympathetic faction in any Tomb Raider game. They're not villains, they're just survivors.
We have to move.
Strange acquaintance rescued Jacob from the gulag.
And in order to arrive to Jacob's village, we need to go to an entire camp full of Trinity. Headshot an enemy with an arrow from a distance beyond 25 meters. Here we also unlock our first collectible achievement for collecting 25% of all narrative assets. When it comes to this, Rise of the Tomb Raider has over 500 collectibles. And these are being split between documents, relics, murals, archivist maps, explorer satchels, strongboxes, monoliths, coin caches, vial caches, challenges, challenge tombs, and the last but not least, crypts. So yeah, it's gonna be a long run. Rapid recovery, heal yourself in combat 3 times. Once again, we barely make it out alive, and this time around, Jacob is the one saving us. However, we do part ways no long after due to Jacob's concern for his own village. And we take this opportunity to complete as much as possible from the current map, as some of the collectibles are locked behind either story progression or specific gear upgrades, which means you're coming back multiple times. A craft woman, craft 5 pieces of equipment. So I have roughly 5 more to do.
Travel lightly. This valley can be dangerous in the best of times.
Good Samaritan, complete 3 missions. Looking for trouble, complete 5 challenges. To be honest, that one was so horrible. I think I spent 1 hour looking for every single poster. We reunite with Jacob, who is pointing us to some Soviet tunnels that his people's been using for ages. Unfortunately, the entire tunnel is full with Trinity, and we have to make our way to his village. Lying down the log, kills 6 enemies with the revolver without reloading. And so we finally arrived to the geothermal valley. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. And this is the home to Jacob and the rest of the remnant. We also find out that Trinity is planning to launch an attack to the village, and we're staying to help. And at the end of it, we are being presented with an enemy which is somewhat more difficult. Rotisserie, shoot a chicken out of airway. Shooting with a fire arrow. Oh my. After clearing the entire valley of Trinity and saving the villagers, Jacob still refuses to help us find the divine source. However, Sophie helps us in return to the help we provided, and she points us to the archives below the cathedral.
There are others. The deathless ones. They will kill any who trespass. My father believes they will stop Trinity. We can't take that chance.
Oh, so similar to how it was for the Sun Queen. They are definitely not alone. And I am pretty sure he's not talking about the humongous amount of rats that you can find down there. Kill 50 animals while wearing the huntress outfit. But more about
The Prophet's deathless army, armed with Greek fire. They were unstoppable.
But we managed to grab the Atlas, and once again we need to run for our lives. And this time around, from the Deathless army. I made a stop to quickly grab a couple of exploration related achievements, like finding different collectibles, upgrading weapons, purchasing ore skills, or even attending someone's funeral. But we didn't stop at just exploration, and we also grabbed a couple of achievements related to combat. But I would say nothing crazy for now. We are using the Atlas to figure out a way to enter the city of Kitesh, And in the meantime, Trinity crashes the party, takes the Atlas and Jonah at the same time. And now we have to go again through camps full of Trinity in order to save Jonah. Zipper, perform a manual zipline transfer. Nice. Blade of Justice, perform 25 stealth kills with a knife. Once we manage to find Jonah, who is Constantine's prisoner, he gets severely wounded. However, we do not have the time to take care of Jonah, since Trinity is planning an attack to kill everyone in the prison. And our next goal is to kill every single Trinity member in close proximity. Once that's done and we're finally returning back to Jonah, we find Jacob tending to his wounds, and we finally get the confirmation of what we assumed the entire game, that Jacob is the Deathless Prophet. I have to say that my guy is looking pretty fine for a person who's over 100 years old. And we're now officially heading to the city of Kitesh. Nice. Avid shopper, purchase all items from the supply shop. You know that we're close to the frozen city once we see one of the most familiar scenes. The way to the frozen city as well as inside the city is full of the Deathless. And to put it plainly, they are ruthless and they also deal loads of damage.
Fearless, defeat a Deathless Swordman using a melee and...
Inside the frozen city, everything changes. This is not only the home to the Deathless, but it also has some of the coolest and most interesting tombs as well. For example, the last tomb that we encounter is the home of a demon. An exorcism ritual happened and they made sure that the demon will not come out by adding some extra measures. Once we managed to complete it, we finally finished all the tombs. But on top of that, we also managed to find the remainings of all Jacob's disciples by finding all the crypts. But as I said not too long ago, in this city everything changes. This is also the place where most of the bugs also started occurring. Like for example, I spent almost an hour trying to figure out why I couldn't progress. In fact, when you're trying to use the catapult to break the gate, sometimes one of the mobs becomes invisible and is located somewhere to Jesus. And basically you can't see him, you can't attack him, but as soon as you interact with the catapult, he will always attack you. But on top of that, we have to fight waves and waves of the Deathless, using catapults to kill enemies, to destroy gates, and to also finish our last challenge. But the closer we are to the ending, the more bugs we see. Not too long after, we finally managed to reach the point of no return. But before we move forward to the boss fight, we make a quick stop to finish our cleanup, as well as the remaining combat achievements. And now we're finally ready to go to the final boss fight. And this one will have 2 stages in 3 waves. The first stage will be Constantine shooting at you from a helicopter, and the second one is him sending troops to kill you. Once you do that 2 to 3 times, the helicopter finally crashes and we finally have a one-on-one fight with Constantine. Now, the fight is fine. There's nothing special about it. It's just fine. Basically, you don't have any weapons. You do not have anything. So the way to kill Constantine will be more like a hit and run situation. You have to hit him, then run, hide away from him, then try to hit him again until the fight is over. Once that's done, you have the option to kill Constantine or to watch him burn. And in my case, I chose the latter. And I have to admit, it felt pretty goddamn good. But now that Constantine has been dealt with, it's time to finally take care of his sister, Anna. Anna finally found the divine source and she was planning to use it to cure her cancer. To avoid being butchered by the Deathless, we break the divine source, and with this means Anna's no longer cured, all the Deathless are now gone, but at the same time Jacob is no longer able to heal, and that means that unfortunately he will die. Before the credits roll, we get a sneak peek into Lara's new plans, which she's already heading for the third game. And if you're wondering what happened to Anna, well, Lara didn't kill her, but Trinity did. But before we jump into the DLCs, we need to talk about the Extreme Survivor. This is the absolute hardest difficulty setting in Rise of the Tomb Raider. It mirrors Survivor difficulty but completely disables autosaves, meaning your game is only saved whenever you rest on a campfire. In that period I was sick and I wasn't paying that much attention, so I definitely did not read this part. Personally, I didn't notice the differences that much since I was using stealth anyway and I was spamming the camps as much as possible. And once we managed to destroy the divine source once again, we unlocked the last difficulty related trophy. Jonah is busy right now, but he's asking if you could like and subscribe for more videos. And just like that, we enter DLC territory. First up, Baba Yaga, the Temple of the Witch. This DLC takes place in the Wicked Valley, a section of the Siberian wilderness that's been corrupted by some kind of a hallucinogenic pollen. Here, we need to help a young girl named Nadia to find her missing grandfather. Apparently, Ivan had ventured into the forbidden Wicked Valley, seeking revenge on the mythical witch Baba Yaga, who he believed killed his wife Seraphima. When I mean this area is corrupted, I mean is genuinely corrupted. The environment itself starts warping, the shadows move wrong, and then Baba Yaga shows up. Each document that we collect is basically a lore drop pointing out what actually happened. The Soviets imprisoned Seraphima, who was a brilliant biochemist, forcing her to work on a project attempting to weaponize the pollen. And so we realized that there was no supernatural witch. Rather, the pollen causes the hallucinations. Seraphima did survive her imprisonment by using the pollen to her advantage. She used the hallucinogenic smoke to manipulate her captors and torment them, turning the local folklore of the Baba Yaga into reality to protect herself and terrorize the Soviets. I'm not even going to lie, but this DLC was actually incredible from a story perspective. It's a self-contained horror narrative about a witch who's been mind-altering spores to trap people into her twisted reality. The hallucination sequences are some of the most visually striking moments in the entire game. But trophy-wise, it's manageable. Complete the story, find the collectibles, survive the hallucinations. No major bugs, no major headaches. This was the calm before the storm, and if that sounds too positive, don't worry, the next DLC exists. Next up is Score Attack, and this DLC in Rise of the Tomb Raider challenges to replay main story levels to earn high scores, medals and credits. You need to maximize your score by completing level challenges, collecting floating orbs aka wisps, maintain a continuous combo multiplier and equip expedition cards that grant point multipliers. This DLC has a couple of achievements, however the ones that stand out the most are collecting 300 cards, which is not hard, especially if you have the 20 years anniversary edition, because you get loads of card packs which help you with this. There's also Untouchable, where you need to replay 5 different levels without taking any damage, and this is the easiest to do on the levels where there are no enemies. And of course, the most stressful, exhausting and terrifying one is Golden Child, where you need to complete every level with a gold score. The way the scoring works is you need to collect orbs, pick up items, defeat enemies to build your combo multiplier. If you're taking damage, then your combo immediately resets to 0, making it crucial to dodge or use cover. You also need to shoot lanterns from a distance for higher points, and consistently chain your path so the combo meter doesn't expire. And on top of that, as you might expect, finishing the level quickly awards a substantial end of stage point bonus. Overall, I hated this DLC a lot. You can call it a skill issue, it definitely is, but it's not one that I had fun with. And now, the next one is All Darkness Awakened. Oh man, where do I even begin? This DLC is a zombie survival mode set in a decommissioned Soviet research facility. The infection has spread, the place is overrun with feral Trinity soldiers, and Lara has to shut down 3 towers while fighting through waves and enemies with unlimited resources. Conceptually, it's pretty cool. Executionally, this thing has been held together by my hopes and prayers the entire time. And I'm not even exaggerating here. The enemies were spawning inside the walls, the objectives were not properly being ticked off, the trophies are extremely bugged and they are not unlocking. When you hit the requirements, it's a complete mess. The main idea of this DLC is that Lara needs to infiltrate 3 massive chemical production towers. Inside, we must listen to Nadia's radioed instruction to safely manipulate various color-coded systems, country-coded systems, or visual clues. Making the mistakes triggers waves of enemies. For one of the achievements, we have to make sure that we deactivate all 3 towers without making any mistakes, which, as you might expect, is one of the bugged achievements. And before you ask, no, there's no set pattern. They will be randomized on every single run, every single attempt, every tower, and every death, so nothing is ever the same. Once all 3 towers are deactivated, the toxic gas shuts to a central core tower, and that's where we have to complete a final defensive stand and overload the core to trigger a catastrophic explosion, basically to purify the valley. But that is easier said than done, because inside of the central tower there are infinite waves of mobs, which, as you might expect, it makes everything turn into a nightmare. Apart from that, we also have other achievements like collecting all documents, killing a threshold of enemies, rescuing all the remnants, etc. Next up, the Croft Manor DLC. This one is split into 2 parts, Blood Ties and Lara's Nightmare. Blood Ties is a non-combat exploration of the Croft Manor. You're searching for proof that the estate belongs to Lara, uncovering family history and reading through decades of letters and documents that paint a devastating picture of the Croft family collapse. And honestly, this is some of the most emotionally resonant content in the entire Survivor Trilogy. Reading Amelia's letters, who's Lara's mum, about waiting for Richard to come home, finding Lord Croft's desperate research into immortality in order to save Lara's mother, realizing that Lara's obsession with myths and artifacts isn't just academic, it's deeply, painfully emotional. She's literally following her father's footsteps into the same obsessions that destroyed him. The trophies here are not that hard, they are mainly collect everything and figure out what's going on. On the other hand, Lara's nightmare is their combat variant. Zombie hordes invading the manor. It's fine, it's a fun little survival mode. But after Cold Darkness, my tolerance for horde modes was at absolute zero. The entire action happens in the same Croft manor, with the same areas and the same layout. You are just spawning in different places each time you die. And the main goal is to destroy all 3 boss skulls, which represent your uncle. And once again, the trophies here are pretty straightforward. Just kill the horde of enemies, complete the nightmare, and that's pretty much it. And now, the next one is... This is a roguelike survival expansion of Rise of Tomb Raider. The mode drops Lara into the Siberian wilderness, where you have to balance resource gathering, exploration, and combat with strict survival statistics. A couple new core mechanics have been introduced, which are the warmth meter and the hunger meter. If your warmth meter goes completely dry, then Lara will slowly freeze over time, and you must light campfires, stand near burning signal barrels or fire sources to replenish her body heat. Similar to that, the hunger meter represents the food levels, which deplete as time passes. You must actively hunt wildlife such as squirrels, rabbits, deer and boars to prevent starvation. By default, you have only 1 life, so if Lara freezes, starves, triggers a spike trap or is killed by enemies, the run immediately ends. Unlike the main game, there is no infinite exploration. To secure your score and successfully finish a run, you must find a signal fire, fuel it with wood and call an extraction helicopter. The trophies here are pretty much collectible related, but also you have to make sure that you survive past a certain amount of days. And this is the last DLC. But before we actually finish with this one, I kept exactly 2 achievements for last, so you can consider this the final cleanup. Nothing too extensive though, so one of them is beating 15 combat encounters after completing the game. And the second one of the most funny one as well, is from the Baba Yaga DLC, which basically you have to do the following. So, Rise of the Tomb Raider, the middle child of the Survivor Trilogy. The one I apparently played in 2019 and then immediately repressed like a bad memory. The one whose DLC made me question every life choice that led me to trophy hunting. And here's the thing, despite the bugs, despite the backtracking, despite the Cold Darkness nearly making me abandon the entire platinum, this game is genuinely phenomenal. The story has real weight, the tombs are the best in the trilogy, and the ending, it hit me harder than I expected. 2 Survivor games down, 1 more to go before the Legacy of Atlantis. And that is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And I already know, it's going to hurt in completely different ways. I platinum games for the story, the journey, and the emotional damage along the way. So see you in the next one.